Anyway, it's time to begin the class trial! So, please meet up in the usual spot.
That's right.
Hey.
What? Why?
Could it be?
Come on.
In other words... Hey.
What?
Is that right? indeed.
Let's go.
But...
Correct. That's right. Whew. So... However... Wrong. In other words...
Just a second!
Makoto. It would seem... Goodbye.
I can't wait! I can't wait! Thrills! Chills! Kills! Let's begin. If you can fit an aisle pun. Okay, well.
Well then, let's discuss the specifics of the first. We need to clarify who exactly the...
It's Kyoko! There's no other explanation.
But Kyoko's standing right there.
No! That's a ghost!
But she has legs and stuff.
Well, that's just... She's like the latest evolution!
There's a limit to how much ridiculousness I can tolerate.
Okay. So I just have to prove that. Then let's compare Kyoko's traits to the traits of the dead body.
Her traits?
I got it! I'm talking about her gloves. They'll give us some insight.
In that case, I think it would be helpful if someone explained why she...
And would you happen to know the answer?
In fact, Monokuma told me. Apparently you have scars on your hands you don't want anyone to see.
Oh, you know, now that I think about it,
They probably just got burnt up in the I'm not convinced! That Kyoko there is just a ghost!
impossible.
Okay, then prove it! Prove she's not a ghost!
The dead body wasn't wearing gloves.
They got burnt up in the explosion!
Then she was wearing gloves before the explosion?
Well, yeah! She must have been wearing gloves!
No, it's wrong! No. There's no way the corpse was wearing gloves. Whoever it was, they were wearing fake nails, remember? I imagine trying to wear gloves over nails like that would have been a pretty big pain. Besides, Kyoko wears gloves to hide her hands, right? It'd be pretty weird for someone who's self-conscious about their hands to wear fake nails, don't you think?
Jeez, man, you don't know women, huh?
If anyone doesn't know women, it's you.
Well, Kyoko, any thoughts?
These gloves were custom made to the size of my hands to make sure they don't interfere with my daily life. If I wore fake nails, the gloves wouldn't fit properly.
Then that's that.
Which should have been obvious since she's standing right here.
Okay, so then, who's the...
That's the first thing I said.
Kyoko really is still alive. Then who died?
There's gotta be some way to figure it out. I don't think so. The face was scorched beyond recognition. And there wasn't any description in the Monokuma file. Well, if we can't identify the body...
Then there's nothing else we can do, right? If Kyoko really is still alive, then who died?
There's gotta be some way to figure it out. I don't think so. The face was scorched beyond recognition. And there wasn't any description in the Monokuma file. Well, if we can't identify the body...
No, that's wrong. There was one clue left behind that we can use to identify...
What? For real? You're lying. You'll die a cruel and unusual death.
Cruel and unusual.
She's just being stupid. Ignore them, Makoto. Tell us...
The key to figuring out who it was is the tattoo on the back of her hand.
Well, yeah. The design's pretty strange, huh? Is this a dog? Her master must have made her get it. To be like, you're my...
Seriously? They really did something that human?
No, that's not it. The identity...
Oh, really?
I got it! The Fenrir Mercenary Corps. That's the name of the military group Mukuro Ikusaba belonged to.
Okay, so...
To show that they're a member of the team, each soldier that would get a tattoo representing Fenrir somewhere on their body.
Fenrir?
Now I understand. The representation of Fenrir is a wolf.
Fenrir, the Wolf of Ragnarok. It's from Norse mythology. He's the child of the trickster god Loki, and a female giant.
Man, after all this time, we finally got a glimpse of the literary all-star.
A wolf tattoo.
Exactly. The body we found had a tattoo of a wolf, which means that person must have once belonged to Fenrir. So it must have been Mukuro.
What? Hold on. Isn't she...
You sound... Yes, indeed. The trial this time is to solve the murder of Mukuro Ikusaba.
Are you saying the mastermind is dead?
No. It means we were wrong.
But I mean, being the ultimate despair seems like a pretty mastermindy title to me.
Maybe we shouldn't have been thinking of her as the ultimate despair in the first place. After all, looking at her profile, I didn't see all it said was that she was the ultimate soldier. If I remember correctly, that other information came from Kyoko. That's what you told Makoto, right?
So that means Kyoko?
Who was she? She's been gone this whole time? And when she finally turns up, she gets killed.
Usually when there's a scene where an important character dies, it has a lot more detail.
So you're saying she wasn't an important character, which would mean she was the same as us. Just
Then who's the real mastermind?
It must have been the Hope's Peak Academy headmaster after all.
No, the headmaster has nothing to do with it.
But how can we trust that? We already know your
My information was not wrong.
Okay. We're in the middle of a trial right now. Figuring out who killed Mukuro is first and foremost. Please limit all future prattle, chatter, and...
Fine. Uncovering the identity of the mastermind will have to wait. No matter what happens, we will find out who you really are. I stake my family name on it.
I have officially decided to completely ignore... Now then, just so nobody's confused, let me state this one more time for the record. The reason we're having a class trial is because a murder hammered that point straight into your big ol' brain!
What you're saying is that both the victim and the culprit are part of the student body?
Then, one of us killed Mukuro?
Wait, no! There's a chance that there's some Mystery 17.
Nope! There are only 16 students in total that have been taking part in these events.
Seriously? Then
Who did it? Who's...
Get a hold of yourself. We've already...
Huh?
I'm sure you realize who I'm talking about, right, Makoto?
I got it! You've narrowed it down to Kyoko and me.
Why do you say that?
Allow me to explain. Just after nighttime last night, I went to bed at that point. So, the murder must have taken place after I left the garden. However, Hiro, Toko, Hina, and I were in the gym.
The gym?
That's right. The four of us were there the whole time. We were very careful, not all of which is to say, the four
Are me and Makoto. That's
exactly so.
I have some...
Are you thinking of raising an objection?
Well, before that, I just want to try and get a better idea of what time the murder... Doing that might reveal some kind of clue.
Whatever you want. Somebody go ahead and help.
me and Byakuya can both confirm that the body wasn't in the garden. Well, it was after nighttime for sure. I'd say it must have... So the murder must have happened after 10 p.m.
Then I guess we can say the time frame... Oh, but... What time did we...
The one who saw the body first was Toko, right? And she went to go...
I got it! The body must have been discovered at 9 a.m., since that's when Toko went to get the pickaxe.
He's right.
So we can be totally sure the murder happened sometime between 10 at night.
For me, I was already asleep before nighttime hit, so I don't have an alibi after 10 o'clock. But I'm sure I met up with everyone else before 9 this morning.
We ran into each other in the dining hall, right? Oh yeah! Right around 7:30. I remember checking
Which means from 10 p.m. to 6...
We've established a time frame for the murder. It took place somewhere between 10 o'clock at night and 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yep, and Makoto doesn't have an alibi for most of that time.
Yeah, from 10 o'clock to 7:30.
That's more than enough time to commit murder, I should think. So Makoto, if you have any objections, now would be the time. We've established a time frame for the murder. It took place somewhere between 10 o'clock at night and 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yep, and Makoto doesn't have an alibi for most of that time.
Yeah, from 10 o'clock to 7:30.
Shoot!
We've established a time frame for the murder. It took place somewhere between 10 o'clock.
No, it's wrong! Actually, the murder couldn't have happened anywhere near 10 o'clock. It had to have taken place way later.
And what makes you say that?
Because of the sprinklers in the garden. The sprinklers are set to go off right at 7:30 every morning, right? So if the body had been in the garden before 7:30, then it should have been completely soaked.
Oh, hold on. I remember this part perfectly. The body was wet. Drip.
Sorry, Toko, but you're wrong.
I'm wrong? Are you saying only the
No, I'm saying that the body was wet, but not because of the sprinklers.
What do you mean by denying the sprinkler? Are you...
Man, you're
If you really think it wasn't the you better... I admit nothing. I hate you. No, no, no! I don't know anything! Hold on! Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. I hate you. No, no, no! I don't know anything! Hold on! Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. I hate you. No, no, no! I don't know anything! How can you say
This should prove it. Just remember what the body was like after the explosion, and you'll see why it wasn't the sprinklers. The top half of the body was wet, yes, but the bottom... If the sprinklers got the body wet, shouldn't the whole...
Oh, they only got the top wet? The bottom...
I'm so sick of her.
Let's just move on. The reason only the top half was wet was because... While the body was still on fire, I doused it with water.
Oh, then I guess the...
So if the sprinklers didn't get the body wet, sometime after the sprinklers turned on at 7:30 in the morning.
Which means she must have been killed sometime between then and when the body was discovered at 9.
But Makoto's alibi was only missing from 10 o'clock last night to 7:30 this morning, right?
So there's no way Makoto could have done it! I guess you had an alibi after all. Good for you!
In which case, the only one left without an alibi is...
I'd just like to say one thing. If you vote for me, and I die here, the mystery of this school will stay hidden forever. Which is why I can't let that happen.
So are you saying you're not the culprit?
Of course I'm not. I have no reason to kill anyone. This is a trap the mastermind has laid for us.
A trap?
We're this far into the game, and now you decide to blame me? Stop wasting time! Stop wasting energy! You really think your little trick is gonna work?
Shut up, you!
You got it, boss! Shutting up now!
Anyway, Kyoko, you actually did have a reason. Huh? She thought Mukuro was the ultimate despair. In other words, so she killed her to try and put a stop to all this. Isn't that right, Kyoko? But you made one catastrophic mistake. Mukuro wasn't the mastermind at all. And as a result, we were forced into another trial, something I'm sure you weren't at all expecting.
So, that was her motive?
If she had a motive and no alibi, well then, I think it's pretty clear Kyoko's gotta be the culprit.
I'm not the only one without an alibi. Makoto's explanation is still insufficient.
Huh?
The sprinklers didn't get the body wet, but that doesn't mean the murder happened when he said it did.
What are you...
Because you see, there is a way the body could have avoided getting wet.
Interesting.
All it would take is covering the body with a certain something to keep it from getting wet.
I got it! You're talking about the tarp, aren't you?
You catch on quick. You're right. All you'd have to do is cover the body with the tarp, and that'd take care of the water. In fact, that's exactly what the killer did. The dirt pattern on the tarp can attest to that. Only one side of the tarp got dirty, because that's the side that got covered in water. The side that faced down over the body, meanwhile, kept perfectly clean. This proves that the killer used the tarp to keep the body from getting soaked.
But why would they go to all that effort just to keep the body from getting wet?
Most likely so they could cloud the issue of when the murder actually took place. In other words, to create an excuse exactly like the one Makoto just gave us.
Wait.
And what might that be? By covering the body with the tarp, the killer prevented it from getting wet.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side is because the sprinkler got that side wet.
But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless, right?
It's because that side was protected from the water.
Shoot!
By covering the body with the tarp, the killer prevented it from getting wet.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side is because the sprinkler got that side wet.
But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless, right?
It's because that side was protected from the water. Since it was facing down toward the body, of course it didn't get dirty!
By covering the body with the tarp, the killer prevented it from getting wet.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side is because the sprinkler got that side wet.
But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless, right?
It's because that side was protected from the water. Since it was facing down toward the body, of course it didn't get dirty!
No, it's wrong! Actually, one side being clean is pretty strange if you think about it. Because the blood wasn't dry before the body. Byakuya said it himself. If you put a tarp on a body in that state, it absolutely would have gotten blood on it.
Well, maybe the culprit washed it, so nobody would know they...
If they had, they would have washed both sides. Just washing the one side wouldn't hide anything.
Oh, yeah, true.
More than that, what if the very blood we saw on the body was meant as a kind of camouflage? What if, after the killer used the tarp to avoid the sprinklers, they then covered the body in blood that didn't belong to the victim?
You mean someone else's?
I know! They could have grabbed some of the blood packs from the nurses. That's what Hifumi did, right? When he pretended to...
No, that's not what the killer got the blood from right there in the garden.
I got it! Could it have been...
What? Chicken blood?
When I checked the chicken coop before the murder, there were 5 chickens. But after the murder...
So, you're saying someone killed it? Man, that's messed up.
Killing a living thing just to do something like that is awful. They should...
I wonder if the killer had to get the blood from the scene so they wouldn't be spotted walking around. Anyway, there's no denying that a chicken went missing, which provides a basis for my theory.
Perhaps, but even so, there's one thing that still doesn't make sense. You said the culprit used the tarp to avoid the water and then covered the body in blood, right? But if that's the case, then the blood should have soaked into the ground around the body. But that's not what we saw. Only the victim's clothing had blood on it. The ground was completely clean.
I have to agree, that certainly is strange. Maybe they didn't apply the blood at the scene. Maybe they covered the coat in blood with When you discovered the body, was it wearing the coat like you normally would?
I think so. Wait, no. The head was through the neck hole, but the arms weren't in the sleeves.
Then that settles it.
Sorry, I'm having a tough time keeping up. What settles what?
Here's what happened. The murder took place before the sprinklers went off, but the body didn't get wet because the killer covered it with the tarp. Then, later, at the same time the killer was gathering, they pulled the coat over the body. The coat they'd already covered in blood. This series of cover-ups was meant to disguise the actual time the murder occurred. They wanted us to think the murder happened sometime after the sprinklers had gone off, at 7:30.
If that's actually what took place, it certainly becomes possible that the murder...
But to pull all that, wouldn't they have had to go back to the garden after the sprinklers?
That actually wouldn't have been all that difficult.
Huh?
They already had the coat ready, so they just had to grab the tarp and pull the coat over the body. They'd be done in no time.
Maybe, but still.
Hina, after you met up with Makoto in the dining hall, did you two stay together from...
Oh no. I headed off to the gym, and Makoto didn't show up.
Then he had plenty of time to spare.
That's not...
Don't bother saying it's not possible.
I must admit, Kyoko's reasoning is... Well then, it looks like Makoto's alibi is no good, so once again,
For serious, man? Hey, why don't we let luck decide? Let's flip a coin.
Oh!
See? Pretty good idea, right?
No, not that.
Well, don't just stand there.
You know that knife we found all black?
The one we found stuck in the box. According to the Monokuma file, the knife went all the way through, from front to back. So, what about it?
I'm pretty sure I'd seen that knife. That's what I thought when I...
You don't seem surprised. Then why did you hide that fact?
It's not that I hid it. It's just...
Suspicious. The knife we found stuck in the body came from Makoto. Now I'm totally convinced he did it. 12,000% convinced.
The knife we found lodged in the dead body.
It's the same one we gave to Makoto.
It really is, isn't it? I was afraid of that.
If he did have that knife before, then that seals it. Makoto did it.
Just because I had the knife once, that automatically makes me the killer?
Well, getting stabbed is what killed her, right? So there's no question. You took that knife of yours and killed her with it.
What a horrible man you are, Makoto.
The knife we found lodged in the dead body.
It's the same one we gave to Makoto.
It really is, isn't it? I was afraid of that.
If he did have that knife before, then that seals it. Makoto did it.
Just because I had the knife once, that automatically makes me the killer?
Well, getting stabbed is what killed her, right?
Shoot!
The knife we found lodged in the dead body.
It's the same one we gave to Makoto.
It really is, isn't it? I was afraid of that.
If he did have that knife before, then that seals it. Makoto did it.
Just because I had the knife once, that automatically makes me the...
Well, getting stabbed is what killed her.
No, that's wrong. Wait, hold on. The stab wound isn't what... That should be clear from the description of the cover-up we just heard.
Lies! We never talked about what killed her.
No, don't you remember? The killer covered the dead body with the tarp, and then put the bloody coat on it, right? In other words, the victim never wore that blood-stained coat until after they were dead.
Okay, fine. So what?
So, when we discovered... The knife had been thrust through the coat along with the body. Meaning, if she wasn't stabbed until the coat was put on, and she was already dead at that point, obviously the stab wound isn't what killed her.
Maybe you stabbed her twice. Once to kill her and once to cover it up.
The Monokuma file clearly states that there was only...
Oh yeah, it sure did.
Then the knife...
was just another piece of camouflage set up by the true killer. They probably stabbed her to draw attention away from what... Exploding the body afterward was probably meant to do the same thing. The explosion severely damaged the body, making it impossible to know what really killed her. It was all the killer's attempt to destroy all evidence.
So they wanted us to notice the stab wound and then detonated the body afterward. They meant for us to latch onto the knife as the cause of death, then destroy any evidence proving otherwise.
Oh, hey, I have a question. It kinda goes back to the beginning. What's the deal with that explosion anyway? Why'd the body just blow up all of a sudden like...
If you bothered to put that lump...
Well, if you're so smart...
I'll tell you, I bet some unknown
I might be dumb.
Go ahead, Makoto. Tell her or we won't...
A gun! After the explosion, we found a tiny fragment of something on the ground near the... That fragment was... Huh? That's only natural. Because... We saw the same thing when we dismantled... It's part of a bomb.
Oh!
Anyway, the culprit's motive is becoming more and more obvious. They wanted the knife wound to look like the fatal injury, so that we... And the only one who would benefit from... Is the only other possible...
Hold on a second, Byakuya.
What's the problem?
Well, I just feel like... we need to think this through. We still don't know what actually killed the victim.
That's true. It's definitely bugging.
Fine. I have no problem with that. It won't change the facts of the case. Then, shall we continue the debate? The victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined, correct?
The explosion didn't kill her for sure. Yes.
Well, yeah. She was already totally dead when that happened.
And it wasn't because of the knife, right? And then there's only one other thing.
Oh yeah. According to the Monokuma file, that's gotta be it. There was evidence that showed she was hit on the back of her head.
And more than that, the victim had suffered countless wounds across her entire body.
Shoot!
Then, shall we continue the debate? The victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined, correct?
The explosion didn't kill her for sure. Yes.
Well, yeah.
She was already...
And it wasn't because of the knife. And then there's only one other thing.
Oh, yeah. According to the that's gotta be it. There was evidence that showed she was hit on the back of her head.
And more than that, the victim had suffered countless wounds across her entire... Then, shall we continue the debate? The victim's fatal injury has yet to be...
No, that's wrong. Mukuro died because of the blow to the back of the head she suffered.
What about the wounds all over the rest of
The Monokuma file makes it clear that those...
Oh yeah, good point. If they were old...
Okay, then we're safe in assuming the blow to the back of her head is what...
But then... Well, the Monokuma file says she was hit with a blunt object. But the...
Oh! I bet it was the...
How is that even possible? If you hit someone with that, it'd...
Well, maybe they held it the other way and hit her with the handle.
No way! The balance would be all off. You wouldn't be able to... I wouldn't mind testing it on you if you want.
No thanks. I bet you just hit me with a metal end and call it an accident.
I'd love to scoop out that nasty brain of yours. The road...
I feel the same way!
Seriously?
We want to figure out what killed her, right? It just so happens we already know.
We already know? I knew we could count on you!
So what was it?
Go ahead and tell them, Makoto. Surely you...
I got it! Mukuro was hit in the back of the head with something. And that something was the titanium arrow we found in the...
Arrow. That's what the cult...
Indeed. There's...
Are you sure?
Hey! How dare you back...
I'm not back-talking anything.
the titanium arrow. It was in the dojo locker, right? I have no doubt that was the murder weapon.
You sure?
You don't sound convinced. What's the problem?
Well, because in the Monokuma file, it said the weapon must have been about as thick as a metal pipe, right? It seems like an arrow would just be too thin.
Talking back to Master! You have no right!
The titanium arrow. It was in the dojo locker, right? I have no doubt that was the murder weapon.
You sure?
You don't sound convinced.
Well, it said the weapon must have been about as thick as a metal. It seems like an arrow would just be too thin.
No, it's wrong. You're right. Just the one arrow would have been too weak. That's why the killer used another weapon.
Another weapon?
Inside the dojo locker, we also found a balled-up wad of duct tape. The killer probably used this duct tape to bind multiple arrows together. Bundling them together using the duct tape would easily create a single weapon as thick, and that's exactly what the killer did.
It's similar to Aesop's fable about the bundle of sticks. One stick is weak, but put them together, and they become strong. It's meant to teach cooperation.
Damn, that's harsh.
How is that harsh? Are you even listening?
Anyway, That explains the murder weapon. As for who the culprit is, it was you, Kyoko.
I've never been to the dojo.
Oh no. You.
How can you say that was...
Because we have proof of...
Oh,
Surely you don't intend to... You know what will happen if you cover for the culprit, there's the death of us all.
of course.
Then show us. Show everyone the evidence that proves
I got it! The one thing that proves right here.
And how does that prove
Because
it was in my room?
Don't bother trying to play. That key is just the final piece. Your non-existent alibi. This all proves that you are...
hold on a sec.
Not this again. You really are dead...
No, it's not that. There's one more thing I need. Kyoko. Last night. Why? That's what I need to know.
I was just protecting you.
What?
That's enough. The time for idle chatter is over.
Wait, I'm warning you. Don't make this mistake. I'm not the killer.
I knew you were stubborn, but this is just
Really? But you should know. Can you tell me I'm wrong?
I should know. Those words you just spoke. What do you mean?
Exactly what I said. I'm not the killer. You should understand that more than anyone here.
Byakuya, what are you hiding?
Master would never hide something from me!
There's proof that you aren't the culprit. Is that what you're saying?
You stated a theory earlier. You said I hid the evidence of my crime in the dojo locker, and then left the locker key in my own room, correct? But could I really have done that?
Those words you just spoke. What do you mean?
Exactly what I said. I'm not the killer. You should understand.
Byakuya, what are you...
Master would never hide something from me!
There's proof that you aren't the culprit. Is that what you're saying?
You stated a theory earlier. You said I hid the evidence of my crime and then left the locker key in my own room, correct? But could I really have done that?
Those words you just...
Exactly what I said. I'm not the killer. You should understand that more.
Byakuya,
Master would never hide something from me!
there's proof that you aren't the culprit. Is that what you're saying?
You said I hid the evidence and then left the locker key in my own room, but could I really have done that?
Those words you just...
Exactly what I said. I'm not the killer. You should understand that more than...
Byakuya,
Master would never hide something!
There's proof that you aren't the culprit.
No, that's wrong. If I'm right, Kyoko, because she had given her room key to be...
I see. So, and if I had the key to...
Then obviously I had... Without my room key, I couldn't have... Am I wrong? Then you're finally starting...
There was a lie hidden within Kyoko's statement just now.
A lie?
Isn't that right, Kyoko?
You said it. So let's hear it. Where's this lie that... I didn't have the key to my room, because I'd given it to Byakuya. There's no doubt about that, right?
You are correct.
So I couldn't possibly have gotten into my room.
No, that's wrong. No. Kyoko could have gotten... You said so yourself.
Monokuma...
Kyoko stole it from the... Which means...
Then I guess that's it.
You're giving up just like that?
No, I'm simply
What are you...
Like I said, this was a trap. So I lost. That's all this means.
Then... Kyoko aren't the killer?
Okay!
Huh?
I'm sorry to say, but your time is up! All done!
But that's ridiculous!
It's because you were late! So then, it's time. But I guess we already know! Now then, I've prepared a Let's get...
This isn't right!
Makoto, why are you staring off into space? Don't you have a rebuttal for Kyoko's claim? Well, does no one have you decided to accept her assertion as... I see. So I suppose we have to admit that Kyoko didn't put the lock...
I mean, Byakuya had a room key, right?
You! What are you trying to...
But of course, I have an alibi. From nighttime on, I was with you guys I couldn't possibly have killed anyone, or put the key in Kyoko's room.
Well, someone had to put the key in there.
There's only one other possibility I can think of. Someone could have had the key on them, then one...
It had to be Makoto, right?
I don't see any other option.
Wait a second. You've got it all wrong. Let's think about it one more time. There's gotta be a hidden side to this case.
Huh? A hidden side?
First of all, there's something off about this entire trial. You all see it, don't you? Mukuro, who we didn't even know existed, suddenly shows up dead. And Kyoko even said, it's a trap the mastermind...
Okay, time's up!
Huh?
Time's up! Class trial's all over! Everyone can stop talking now!
What? Time's up?
What do you mean time's up? There's no time's up. Since when have we...
It's because few were late, so we had to push back the start time. So then, it's time for voting time, okay? Everyone, please vote using the lever in front of you.
Voting time?
Now, who will be chosen as the Blackened? Will you make the right choice or the dreadfully wrong one? Hey, hold on! What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be?
Sorry.
Nails Kid!
I don't expect you to forgive me.
Let's give it everything we've got!
This is...
It would seem...
What the heck?
In other words... Calm down.
Huh?
In other words...
What did you...
So... Just a second. It smells awful. Indeed. So... Hey. Hmm? So... You... Indeed. However... It's true. In other words... Indeed. Makoto. That's right. It would seem... Hey. Indeed. However... Why is that? Correct. However...
isn't it?
Listen. Hey. Correct. So... I... Correct. So... In other words... No matter what?
So,
However... So... It's true. Indeed. Correct. However, So... However... However... Anyway... Indeed. Correct. That's right. In other words... Hey. Indeed. Anyway... Correct. However... Correct. Indeed. Correct. In other words... Makoto. Indeed. That's right. It would seem... Indeed. Anyway... Indeed. That's right. It's true. Indeed. Hey. So... Wrong. Right. Indeed. It's true. However, What? Wrong. However, So... However... Right. However... So... However... Correct. Wrong. Hey. Indeed. That's right. Whew. Listen. So then, in other words, however, because so right. Indeed. Shall we go?
Well now. I don't vote! Pung, pung!
What?
Shing! Making me act?
Right. However, now,
Hey!
because in other words, however, right. Indeed. However, am I wrong? Listen to me.
Well?
Well, that doesn't matter. That's right.
Pung, pung.
Because... However...
What the heck?
Indeed. Hey. Indeed. Listen to me. Hey. That's what we have to do. It's true. It's time for one last showdown. One final battle between... Hey.
Barret! What's wrong?
In other words...
You guys! I can barely contain my... Barret! You guys! I can barely contain myself!
It's true.
You guys!
Listen to me. Hey.
What's wrong?
Hey, listen.
Now I'm ready.
Whew.
Hey!
Hey, however... Whew. So... Because... So... Listen. Indeed. However... In other words... So... It would seem... In other words... Correct. Hey. That's right. It's true. Makoto. In other words, at the very least, indeed. Right. It's true. Indeed. In other words, however, wrong. Whew. However... Correct. Hey. However... Anyway... Shall we go? Just a second. Hey. Whew. However...
Is that Makoto?
You guys!
It is! There's no two ways about it, that's Makoto!
Huh? You survived?
Jeez. You're like a stubborn little cockroach, you know that?
I'm just asking to make sure, but you're not a ghost.
What?
What the heck?
Makoto.
Yes.
It's true.
Huh?
In other words...
Huh?
How about that?
Wrong.
Huh?
I see.
Huh?
That's right. However...
What did you say?
However...
Huh?
Correct.
Naturally.
Don't be mean!
About that. Huh? But...
Anyway...
Oh!
I hate you!
Anyway...
Interesting.
But...
Indeed.
I see.
Huh?
So, in other words... In other words... That's right.
No way!
Indeed.
Well... But...
I'm right, right?
You've all probably figured at this point, the killing game has now entered true ending mode. So, in the name of fairness, I look wherever you want. Solved? Then we can all meet up at the class trial, okay?
That's fine. In the name of my family. Goodbye.
Hey.
Indeed.
You know?
Just a second!
How about that?
But... 'cause, I mean... Huh? But... Okay...
Indeed. However... So... So then... Correct. Makoto. Correct. Indeed. It would seem... However, in other words... However... Whew. Correct. So... Indeed. Indeed. However... It's true. Whew. What? Well? It would seem... However... Hey. Why? Makoto. It would seem... Anyway... I see. Wrong. Correct. So... In other words... Why would you... Why? Hey. Because... In other words, it would seem... Hey. So... Hey. Correct. Just a second. Anyway...